Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Max. I'm here to tell you about my experience with the Moto 360 smartwatch. So basically, it starts off like this. It was really cheap. It was essentially an impulse buy for me. I bought it off eBay, refurbished, for 80 bucks. It's the first generation model, but it has its quirks, but it also has its advantages over some other smartwatches you might buy, regardless of what generation it's from. This one, well, actually all of them are made with stainless steel. It's ridiculously hard, and it's not gonna break, and it's not really cheap feeling either, like most of the plastic ones, like the Sony smartwatch and some other ones to think of. So the colors available, and I have to read off my list because they're really weird names. Cognac leather, black, stone gray, champagne metal, natural metal, champagne, dark metal, light metal. So a lot of metal to choose from. The screen resolution on this bad boy, 320 by 290. It's a 1.56 inch display. Well, it's 3.96 if you are metric in centimeters. It's made out of Gorilla Glass 3, so it's really tough. This thing, surprisingly, is not have a single scratch on it. Not even a single one. I can't even look at a microscope and find anything underneath it. It's crazy. It's really durable. CPU in this little thing is a 1 gigahertz dual core. I think it's a dual core. Now, to put it in perspective, and here's where my inner kid comes in. When I was a kid playing my first games, I had a 300 megahertz CPU inside of it. It was one of those, the first iMacs that came out. It was blue. I remember it. I was playing games in my basement, and this is back when they had some good games for Mac. And it's crazy. This is more than 3 times the power of my first bulky PC. It's crazy. It's insane. It's IP67 water and dust resistant. So it says you can submerge it for 1 meter into water for 30 seconds, I believe. Don't really recommend it, but it has wireless charging. If you didn't know that already, it's got Qi wireless charging. So there's no ports open. The only thing that's really open is this microphone port, and we'll get to how that works later. And so there's really no ways for the water to get in, but it still can and damage some of the stuff inside, so I really wouldn't recommend it. If you jump in the water and you forget you have it on, I'm sure it'll be fine, but I would just make sure you take it off right away. So it's got a 320 milliamp hour battery, so it's not really that big, but for the size of this actual smartwatch, it's pretty good. It lasts about a day depending on what you do with it. But I'll get to more on my personal opinion later. The noise canceling mic, well, I'm just gonna say it right now, it's pretty great in most situations. But what I mean by that is if you're on a crowded bus, or perhaps maybe an airplane and you wanna OK Google something, or if you wanna send a text without reaching your phone, because I've had it where I'm on a bus. This is actually a true story. I was on my way to Summerfest with a few of my friends, and I needed to text back somebody. I don't remember who it was, but I had to text someone back, and I really I could barely reach into my pocket to get my phone. And I had my Moto 360 on me, and I was like, okay, Google. And it actually did right here too. But yeah, I was able to send a text, and it read out perfectly. There was no mistakes or typos. Alright, personal opinion time. This thing looks great, and for 80 bucks, it's a pretty big head turner. Basically, whenever I'm walking around with friends that haven't really seen this before, or if I'm at work, some new people or whatever, I'll be like, well, it's a really cool watch. Even though it's not even turned on, the actual thing is dark. And they're like, well, where's the time on it? And you just shake it, and it turns on, and they're like, whoa, no way. I honestly don't think I'm gonna get rid of this anytime soon. However, if there's something that really reaches out to me, like if they make a 3rd generation of this, release it for maybe $149 or $199, depending on how good it is. For example, actually, you know what? I'll get into that later of what I want in the next generation. But basically, I would definitely buy the 3rd generation if it came out. I'm gonna get really quickly into the stuff that I think that kind of sucks about it. Battery life, you're not gonna get more than a day, period. If you start your day around 8 a.m. and then work your way up to around 10 p.m., you're gonna be at probably around 15 or 10% battery life. If you keep the screen off, you could probably get up to like 2% into the next day. So it's gonna die once you start in your next day. So it's not really worth it. So you gotta charge it every night. Which means you also have to bring the wireless charging pad to be able to charge it, because like I said, it doesn't have any ports. So it's kind of an inconvenience that you have to take this bulky wireless charger with you, but I don't know, I think the charger's kind of cool though. Notifications don't always sync up sometimes. I've found that like if you walk away sometimes, this is very rare by the way, sometimes it just doesn't sync back up, which maybe if you have to go on airplane mode and go back off, it usually goes back to working fine. Wrist gestures are sometimes not exactly reliable, so if you really need to check the time, I mean usually it works, but when you really need it to, sometimes it doesn't turn on, and it kind of sucks because I kind of want to know the time. And considering the fact that there's like an always on, like an ambient display mode that's on it, there should be, you know, like it goes all the way off, and it shouldn't. So that's my big gripe about it, because it's a watch. It's labeled as a smartwatch, and it should be able to tell me the time whenever I need to know the time. Right? I guess this is kind of like a suggestion for the next generation. This is the 1st generation, like I said. There's a 2nd generation with some minor improvements. They should have OLED by now. When this first came out, it was pretty expensive, and for it to not have an OLED panel, it kinda was disappointing. The chin, this device is kinda known for its chin, so it's on the bottom of it. It has some of the ambient sensors and stuff like that inside of it to obviously capture the ambient light in the room to detect like what brightness it should be at. To be honest, it's not that big of a deal. So if you want a full round display to look at, just get a Samsung Gear Watch or the Gear S2. It's got a full round display, and I think it might be OLED too. So, but I don't really like Samsung smartwatches anyway. Alright, now on to the positives. So, in my personal opinion, and again, this is my personal opinion, you might think otherwise, this design is quite impeccable for the price I got it for. So the all black design that I have with this little gold accent on the side, it just says class all over, because it's round, you can touch, and you can do all the stuff you can't do with the traditional timepiece, which is check the weather and text your mom asking for more cookies and money. Animations are pretty smooth, so when you have it actually running, you can, for the most part, be able to swipe down, and it's kind of a smooth experience navigating the UI. So this is really cool. You can play games on it. So I have Solitaire loaded up, and you can literally play a game of Solitaire that's attached to your wrist. Honestly, I never thought it would come to this in this day and age, that you can play Solitaire on your wrist while looking cool. There's swappable watch faces. So if you decide to get a different type of style, or if you want your watch face to match, you know, kind of what you're wearing or something like that, in a sense, you can do that. One thing that I really found useful was turn-by-turn Google Maps directions that sync to your phone as you're driving. This is super handy because when you're on the wheel, you can just kind of turn your wrist over and it'll tell you how many miles you have until the next turn, where you're turning, and it'll count down the miles the closer you get to that next turn, which is super awesome. Like, is that not the future? Telling where to go on your watch? That's like some next level spy shit right there. It also tracks your steps. So, like I said, this isn't a fitness tracker. If you want a fitness tracker, get a fitness tracker. So if you're looking to get something that you're going to the gym with, going out for runs daily, or just simply working out at home, get a Fitbit or get like a Garmin fitness tracker or something like that, if that's also your flavor. For me, on a normal work day, I like to know how much I'm walking around. That way I can kind of get an idea of, wow, I didn't do shit that day. Overall, in conclusion, it's not a perfect smartwatch. It's not a perfect first-gen smartwatch either. But it's not also expensive either. You can go on eBay and I'm pretty sure you can probably find the same smartwatch I did and probably get it for around the same price. Maybe even cheaper, because it's a little bit later after I bought it. And it's also nice to know that with that price, you don't have to go and get like a second job or work for Apple or something to be able to afford one of their smartwatches. Or sell my body to prostitution.
Ladies.
Hopefully this review gave some people out there some shoppers insight on whether or not to pull the trigger on a 2-year-old smartwatch that has its quirks, but honestly, it's probably one of the best things I've ever put on my wrist. And like I said, it's a great smartwatch to show off to your friends and also get some productivity done, or to make sure that your DMs haven't been slid into. Anyway, let me know if I missed something. I hope you liked this. I hope I gave a little bit of insight on my personal experiences and my personal opinions on what I thought about this smartwatch. It's a great smartwatch, but you know, there's always going to be some downsides, but if it's worth it to you, I would definitely get it. Anyways, my name's Max. If you liked it, smash the like button. If you want to sub the sub button. And, well, dislike it if you think I sucked. This is my first review of anything. I honestly didn't think I would ever think about stepping in front of a camera and reviewing this thing, but I think that some people might find a little bit of value into this. Anyway, hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one. Thanks. It's important on a sunny day to know when it's 420 or not.
Smoke weed every day.